Hello, welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Pilot Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. It's another beer in their Island Hopper IPA, single hopped IPA series. So this one, the other one, it only said on the side, like in the description, what it was. This one I just noticed it says in the sunglasses reflection what it is. This is with Dr. Rudi hops, which are from New Zealand. But it's the same. Everything else is the same. 6% and 70 IBUs, I believe, which was the same for the other one. That I could see changing because obviously different. Unless I guess they could shoot for 70 IBUs and just add different amount of hops for each time. But if they're using the same hop rate, I wouldn't expect the IBUs to be the same because of the different hops. But anyways, I did like the Amarillo one that I did before, so I'm hoping that this one is as good, if not better. Because I'm not the biggest fan of Amarillo, so I'm hoping this just takes that and just makes it better. And already I can tell. So the other one, the carbonation level was kind of low, which was weird for IPAs are usually pretty carbonated. But I will say, just from appearance, it's pretty similar. It's slightly cloudy, but definitely not hazy. Golden color. White head like the other one, but this one is a lot bigger, a lot fluffier. It's not dissipating really quickly. There's a lot of lacing that it leaves behind. So. I will say I'm not too familiar with Dr. Rudi hops. The only beers that I can even think of that I know of that had them in it were from Roundabout Brewery out of Pittsburgh because the one of the owners and the brewer / owner's wife, she is from New Zealand. So either I don't know if she was originally born there, her family's from there, but I know they have a tie to it, and they go back to visit her family sometimes. So they do a lot of stuff with New Zealand hops. So I've tried them there. But it's definitely a little orangey and a little piney. It is a little like sweaty too, like you get from Mosaic a little bit. I would say this one is definitely the hops are a lot more pronounced in the aroma than the other one. I don't know if that's because this one's a little fresher or if it's just the Dr. Rudi versus Amarillo. I would say it's probably more the latter than the former because that other one was only, I think, like 2 weeks older than this one, so I don't think it would have dropped off that quickly, but who knows. It's interesting. And it's like a little bit of a white wine character that I liken to Nelson Sauvin. But it's also a little like grapey, like that artificial grape flavor that I get from some Pilsners, which is really strange. I'm guessing that's something from the malt bill. I would say this one comes off a little bit more bitter than the other one too. It's weird. It's almost like it's a dry hop Pilsner more than. And I did say the other one to me was more of like an American Pale Ale than an IPA, which I would say that's the same case with this too. But to me, it finishes with this really big, like doughy, bready finish. Not even just to say that it's balanced, but it's almost more dominated by the malt than the hops. Where to me, this almost comes off like an Americanized dry hop Pilsner than a pale ale or IPA. Um, the only thing that would separate it from that is the finish is not like as crisp as that would be. You know, it's a little fruity, which is something more attributed to ales versus lager. Yeah, it's orangey, a little piney and sweaty. It actually is. The bitterness is building and building and building on my tongue the more I drink it. But it's definitely more traditional IPA bitterness, like in the front and middle of the tongue. It's not like burning in the back like some hazies. And again, the finish is very doughy and bready, uh, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just kind of usually you might get that out of an IPA, but it's just enough to balance the beer. This is at the end of it, it's almost like the dominant flavor, which is kind of odd. It's almost like a little perfumey too, and floral. Uh, but I would say on my scale of buy, drink, dump, I'm just gonna give this one a drink. Uh, the bitterness is really almost becoming overwhelming, and I think if the hop flavor was bigger, then that bitterness wouldn't bother me. But when you have that big bitterness without like the flavor to back it up, it's just weird. It's almost like if you drink an old IPA like an old West Coast IPA, it doesn't taste good because it just has that like oxidized hops caramely flavor. But not only does it taste like that, it also is still pretty bitter because that is not gone yet. Um, because some of those beers, I feel like if they didn't have that lingering bitterness on top of those other flavors, the other flavors might be okay. It wouldn't taste like an IPA, but they might still be a drinkable beer. But when you combine those two things, it's just really weird. And it's obviously an old IPA. So this doesn't taste old. I just wish the hops were a little more pungent for how bitter this is. Um, so I'm just going to give it a drink. I'm actually really surprised that I like the Amarillo one better than this, but I think the Amarillo one was just a more balanced beer. So I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.